Night is not when the world sleeps. Night is when souls awaken, when the noise of humanity fades, leaving only the true pulse of the universe. And in the deepest layers of that silence, someone hears a call. It's not the call of the gods, not the call of fate, but something older than both. The call of the dying fire in the heart. You felt it before. It's a feeling of not belonging in the day. Not worry, not fear, but a dull emptiness in the middle of your chest, like you once carried something sacred inside you, but lost it along the way. Maybe you don't remember why, but you feel like there's a part of you missing that no language can describe. Like a person who forgets where they came from. Like a traveler who can't remember why he started on his journey. And then life goes on. You learn to live with it. You live, you breathe, you work. But underneath it all, there is a question stirring quietly like a hot stone under the ashes. Was I once something more? Most people bury that question, okay? They use work to fill it, okay? They use relationships to distract themselves. They use the illusion of success to hide the growing emptiness. And then one day, they no longer hear the call. They sleep, not the sleep of the night, but the sleep of the soul. But not everyone is lulled to sleep by the world. There are those who, though knocked down, though betrayed, though left behind, still burn stubbornly. They are not perfect, but there is something in them that fate cannot ignore. They refuse to let the flame go out. They may fall, but they never surrender. They may be silent, but they never lose themselves. And in their gaze, though weary, there is still a living ember. If you are hearing these words, it means that a part of you is awake. Not the physical awakening, but the awakening of something deeper. Something touched you tonight and drew you here. Maybe you call it intuition. Maybe you call it an inner voice. The ancient Greeks called it a daimon, an inner guide that never lets a person forget who they are. You are standing before a door. Tonight, you can walk through it or return to the familiar path as if nothing had happened. But if you do, don't expect boring myths to lull you to sleep. Myths are not stories to tell. Myths are the source code of the soul, truth forged in fire, hidden from the world of men. And in all Greek myths, there is a fire that existed before the Trojan War, before Zeus usurped power from Cronus, before man was even created. A fire that never goes out, because it is a symbol of life, of home, of spiritual order. It belongs to a goddess, the least spoken of, but whose name no one dares forget. Hestia, the keeper of the eternal flame, the origin of the home, the soul of every family, the source of warmth. Unlike Athena, she did not argue. Unlike Artemis, she did not hunt. Unlike Hera, she is not possessive. Like Aphrodite, she is not seductive. Unlike Zeus, she does not rule. But no ritual can begin without first calling her name. For she has no need of power. She is that which all power must respect, the source. And tonight, she opened the door, not to tell stories, not to celebrate old glories, but to give you back what you lost, your own fire. The journey begins here. No fighting, no fuss, just returning to where the fire has never died. And if you are ready, go ahead. 2. The reason for the journey now. No numbers, no icons, keeping with the agreed style. There is a truth that few people are willing to face. People are not afraid of suffering, of deprivation, of loneliness. What they truly fear is meaninglessness, because when everything becomes meaningless, the soul begins to rot from within. No screams, no wounds, no bloodsheds, just the silent decay of a life. People look back and realize they have lived without ever truly living. But the ancient Greeks understood what the modern world has forgotten. For a life to have meaning, it must have a center and axis, a place for the heart to return to after battles. They called it Hestia, the hearth, the soul of home, the inner anchor. Without it, man loses his way. Without it, victory is meaningless. Without it, Every journey is just endless wandering. So, in every Greek city, from Chile, Sparta, to blazing Athens, there was one fire that never went out, the fire of Hestia. People might leave, kings might change, wars might break out, but the fire remained, for they knew, if it went out, the city would have no soul. That fire did more than warm the body, kept the human heart from falling into the abyss of emptiness. The world today is not much different. Modern people have built taller buildings, created bigger cities, and lived surrounded by technology and artificial light. But they have lost the one thing that the ancients held dear. They have let the fire within them die out. They chase speed and forget direction. They chase money and lose peace. They try to prove their worth without knowing who they are. And one day, they look in the mirror and no longer recognize their own eyes. That is when the journey begins, not a journey of finding something new, but a journey back to what is ours. The way back is not to prove, but to remember. Not to find someone, but to find ourselves before the world changed us. That path is the path of fire, and Hestia is our silent guide. Why her? Because she does not bring easy victory like Athena. She does not reward like Hermes. She does not charm like Aphrodite. She does not protect like Apollo. But she gives mortals what no other god can, a place to belong, even when the world is against them. That is why all the gods respect her, not out of fear, but because they understand. Power cannot be maintained for long without a spiritual anchor. Zeus holds the sky, Poseidon holds the sea, Hades holds the underworld, but Hestia holds the soul of heaven. If your world is in chaos, if your heart is growing cold, if you feel like you're drifting somewhere in this life, don't look for complicated reasons. If you've just been away from the fire for too long, and your soul is guiding you back. Tonight is not about sleep. Tonight is about recovery, about resurrection, about rekindling a fire that once made you live with eyes bright and heart unafraid. That is the reason for this journey, not to tell a story, but to awaken something that is inherently within you. 3 Hestia, the unyielding fire, keeping the same style, no numbers, no icons. In Greek mythology, Hestia all but disappears. She is rarely mentioned, appears in no wars, leaves no heroic legends, is not involved in tragic love or bloody revenge. Because all myth tellers make the same mistake. They only record what is loud. The quiet but eternal things they ignore. But Hestia's silence wasn't obscurity. It was a choice. She chose silence, like a secret keeper chooses not to speak, knowing when the truth will speak for itself. While other gods asserted themselves through victory, Hestia did the opposite. She gave up her throne. When Dionysus appeared on Olympus, no one wanted to make room for this new god. But Hestia stood up and gave up her throne for him. No one understood why, but Zeus understood, because the throne does not make the god. The eternal foundation creates power. A throne can be overthrown, a city can be destroyed, an empire can be buried under the sands of time, but where there is fire, there is life. So she does not need to rule. She just needs to exist. She is the axis around which everything revolves, even if no one notices. True strength requires no display. The strongest are those who do not need to prove themselves. Hestia's fire smolders, but never dies. It does not blaze like Ares' war fire. It does not burn like Zeus' thunderbolt. It does not die out when exhausted like earthly fire. Her fire is steadfast, unyielding to time or darkness. And that is what people have forgotten. It is not the strongest light that overcomes the darkness, it is the light that endures. Hestia does not fight because she does not need to. She is unshaken because she stands on unchanging ground. She has no fear of loss because she understands an ancient secret. Everything in the world changes. Only essence is eternal. And the essence of fire is not to destroy it, is to transform. Fire does not just burn, fire transforms. Everyone has a fire in their heart, But most people don't know how to keep it. Akata, they let others extinguish it with judgment. They let life extinguish it with failure and fear. They extinguish it themselves because they think passion and idealism are naive. Then they look for themselves in places that will never be jobs, money, fame, social media, relationships. The fire is not there. The fire does not belong in the outside world. Hestia is a reminder that you are not born to run after the world. You were born to keep the fire of your soul. True power lies not in mastering others, but in mastering yourself. The greatest victory is not defeating the enemy, but overcoming the chaos within. True freedom comes not from the absence of constraints, but from knowing what is worth keeping. And the Flamekeeper is invincible. For Olympus, at night. Olympus is not what men imagine. It is not a noisy paradise filled with laughter and eternal wine. That is only a version told by poets for those who fear the truth. For the real Olympus is not for the faint of heart. It is a place where ambition, power, pride, and destiny stand at the same table. Only the strong survive long enough to tell their tale. But even Olympus has its moments of silence. When the snow-capped mountains sleep in the moonlight, when the cold wind whispers through the giant pillars of stone, when the fires of the feasts have died down, the gods must retreat, one by one, to their own darkness. For even immortality has its burdens. Night is when the mask falls. Ares stops being a warrior and returns to the unhealed wound in his heart. Apollo stops singing about the light and silently looks at the sorrows he hides behind his harp. Hermes stops laughing and mocking the world to face the truth that he belongs nowhere. Artemis stops hunting. She stands alone, forever unbelonging. Athena closes her book and understands that wisdom cannot save her from loneliness. Even Zeus, the wielder of thunder and the throne, stood for a long time on the edge of the sky, looking down on mankind as if he was searching for something that even his supreme power could not give him. Olympus at night is not a place of glamour. It is a place where the truth cannot be hidden. The truth that every soul, be it God or man, is waging a silent war within. But amidst the solitude of the gods, amidst the ice of the mountaintops, amidst the weariness that no song or victory can heal, there is one place that remains warm. In the center of the palace where no throne sat, where no god claimed its titleless circle of fire burned forever. Not grand, not majestic, but never extinguished. It burned humbly, as if the world might turn its back on it, but it would never turn its back on the world. It is the fire of Hestia. When gods grow weary of their power, they go there. When warriors fall, they go there. When the world becomes too heavy to bear, vain gods need a place to breathe, and they know there is only one place that will always wait for them, silent, without judgment, asking nothing in return. It is a symbol of what humans have lost. A home, not a roof of wood or stone, a roof of the soul, a place where we are allowed to breathe, allowed to be weak, allowed to be imperfect, allowed to be ourselves. The nights on Olympus are never truly cold, for there is fire there, not the fire of war, not the fire of power, but the fire of life. And tonight, you are standing before it. 5. The encounter with the Flamekeeper with the correct depth and capacity. There are encounters that do not come from steps, from movement or searching. They happen when the soul changes state. When there's a silence within us that we could not reach before. When questions no longer torment the mind. When pain no longer frightens us. At that moment, the door opens, and one meets Hestia. No one knows where she lives. No one knows where she came from. No one knows when she first existed. But one thing is certain, she never left, because Hestia is not in one place. Hestia is at the very heart of all life. Ancient Greeks said that whoever sought her lost their way. Those who looked for her with the eyes of desire would forever see nothing but fire. But those who sought nothing, who made themselves empty, silent, true realized that she had been there all along, as if she had never left. You don't approach Hestia with steps. You approach her with honesty, peeling back layers of defense, layers of lies, layers of fear. When you no longer have the need to prove yourself, no longer want to control things, no longer resist yourself in that moment, she appears, not with a divine shock like Zeus, who sent lightning down upon the world, not with a brilliant halo of light like Apollo, not with a cold wisdom like Athena. Hestia's presence did not roar like a storm. She came as a warmth that made one want to let down all defenses. You don't see her first, you just feel it. Something different, like when a storm inside you suddenly calms, when the noise of the world you carry in your mind begins to fade. You notice your body is no longer on guard. Your heartbeat is no longer rapid. Your breathing becomes deep, long, and primal, as if you've returned to the exact frequency your soul was born with. The light from the fire gently sweeps through the space. Each wisp of smoke is like a thread of old memory. Space has no boundaries, no walls, no direction, no time, just a circle of fire and a presence that silences your questions without anyone needing to answer them. And then she was there, not out of fire, not falling from the sky. It was simply there, as if she were the balance your soul had long been missing. Hestia wears no crown. She wears no golden robe. Her hair is long and falls like a waterfall. Her face is not as radiant as Aphrodite, but there is a peace in her eyes that makes one understand why she is the anchor of Olympus. She has no coercive authority, yet no one dares disrespect her. For what she carries within her is not power, but the primal essence of the sacred, the order of the soul. She looks at you not with a judgmental look, but a look that pierces through you, as if she knows where you've been, what you've carried, what you've lost. Nothing about you is a secret to her. But strangely, you don't feel ashamed. You don't feel hurt. On the contrary, you feel relieved, because for the first time in your life, you don't have to hide anything anymore. No one said a word, but the conversation had begun. In a place where there is no sound, she asks you the question you have been avoiding for so long. What has made the fire within you dim? You want to say that life has been too harsh. You want to say that others have hurt you, that the world is too heavy, too tiring, too cold, so that you loved the wrong person, believed in the wrong place, went down the wrong path, that you tried, that you fought, that you didn't want to die like this. You want to say it all, to explode the layers of memories you had clenched your teeth to keep from remembering. But no, when you're with her, you can't lie, not even the most unconscious lie. And you tell the only truth, the truth you'd never dare admit. It's not the world that has weakened the fire. It's me that has stopped tending it. Hestia didn't nod, nor comfort. But there was a deep acceptance, and there is a kind of justice that needed no words. The flame never goes out on its own. It only goes out when the one who keeps it no longer believes themselves worthy of the light. When we choose to abandon ourselves, and Hestia spoke not with a voice, but with a deep communication as of soul speaking to soul. Fire abandons no one. Only people abandon fire. The words hit you in the heart like a prophecy. There was no blame, no judgment, just the raw truth. It's the truth that every soul knew. It's the truth you had buried for so long. You didn't come here to ask for fire. You came here to learn how to keep it. And that's where the meeting ends. The first phase, you understand that from here, the real journey begins. A fire is never an object. It's not something you can grab and carry in your pocket, nor is it a divine gift someone can bestow upon you. A fire is a relationship. Like every important relationship in life, if you don't tend to it, if you neglect it, if you take it for granted and walk away, will die. Not because it hates you, but because you stop being present to it. Hestia knew that the first lesson every soul must learn is not how to make fire, but why to keep it. Those who do not know why will lose the power. even if given it, okay? But those who know why, nothing can make them give it up. No one begins with strength. Everyone begins with a small flame, a flicker of light in the wind, a small hope they dare not believe in. But Hestia understood what Olympus always forgets. The small, properly nurtured, will outlast the great, forgotten. The first fire, not given by God, but chosen by you, Hestia, doesn't give you a fire. She just leads you to an empty space. No tools, no magic, just cold ground and a clear feeling. If you don't make your own fire, you will be left in darkness. Some souls panic in the void because the void reveals the truth. You have nowhere to blame, nothing to hold on to, no one to wait for, no magic to escape being yourself. The void is where you face the only question a human being ever faces. Do you really want to live? Not living by instinct, not existing as a breathing body, but living with a fire, living with will, direction, soul, and purpose. You can leave at any time. No one is tying you down. But if you leave, you are not just leaving behind opportunity. You are leaving behind yourself. And that is the ultimate punishment in the universe, to live without yourself. If you have never experienced that emptiness, you have not truly entered the journey of awakening. And if you have, you understand why that moment is so cold. It cuts to the bone. But it is also from the coldest place that the first fire begins to be born. Hestia doesn't teach how to make fire. She teaches how to touch souls. In the middle of the void, Hestia doesn't lecture you with theory or philosophical advice. She just places the most primal things before you. Rocks, dry wood, a few twigs, and your breath. That's it. No magic, no shortcuts, no secret incantations, because all true magic is built from the simplest of things. You begin. Not because you know what you're doing, but because you have to. You rub the stones together. No spark. You try again. Still no spark. You change the angle. You replace the stone. You hit harder, then softer. You change your breathing. You try 100 times, but the pile remains tauntingly still. You realize you're not just dealing with material things. You're dealing with yourself, with your impatience, your impulses, your fear of failure, your ego that hates feeling weak and useless. And it's there that you meet the real enemy, your own disordered mind. People think failure happens when they are not smart enough, but Hestia smiled. Failure happens when one is not steady enough. Every action without heart will only create noise, not fire. Hestia's first lesson: lighting a fire means being quiet first. You cannot make a fire when you are angry. You cannot maintain a fire when you are in a hurry. You cannot touch a fire when your heart is full of chaos. To light the first flame, you must enter a state of stillness, a state where life flows through you naturally, where every movement you make is precise, not because you are trying to control it, but because you are in harmony with what you are doing. Hestia placed her hand on your shoulder, not to help, but to remind you. The first fire is always the fire of awakening. You start again, but this time it's different. You don't light the fire out of frustration. You do it as a ritual. You arrange each piece of wood gently. You choose the stones, not by haste, but by fit. You no longer flail your arms in desperation. You begin to connect, stone to stone, hand to breath, heart rate to movement. You realize everything in the universe has a rhythm. And if you want to summon fire, you have to be in rhythm with it. The first spark erupts, tiny, weak, but it's real. Your heart flutters, not from fear, but from being reminded of a time-worn truth. You can still create the sacred if you show up. Keeping the fire burning a tougher test than making it. Hestia did not praise her. She did not congratulate her. She simply said, "You think this is an achievement? No, this is just the beginning. Anyone can create a spark, okay? But only the worthy can keep it." And this Hestia's great lesson: fire only gives life to those who never abandon it. Because the world is full of people who were once brilliant, then faded, once passionate, then cooled. Once full of dreams, then gave up. Not because they lacked talent, but because they lacked spiritual responsibility. The fire doesn't require you to be perfect. It only requires you to show up every day. Be more patient than tired. Be more honest than afraid. Be more disciplined than excuses. And be more faithful than tempted to give up. And that is the essence of the sacred that Hestia has preserved since the beginning. What is eternal is never built on impulse. It's built day by day. With hands, with breath, with an unfailing heart. You look at the growing fire in front of you. It's more than just heat and light. It's the first proof you're alive. You have hope. You have the strength to start over. Hestia looks at you and says, "This is your fire. I didn't give it to you. You created it." 7. Keeping the fire. Hestia's sacred principles. There is no victory more difficult than the victory over oneself. There is no power more difficult to maintain than a soul on fire. And there is no mission more sacred than keeping the fire within never extinguished. Anyone can light a spark when inspiration is high, when the heart is in a good mood, when life is favorable. But to keep that flame burning when the wind is against us, when the rain is pouring, when the soul is tested by fire, when everything seems to turn against us, that is not the business of the faint-hearted. That is the domain of souls of eternal will. Hestia doesn't teach people how to be great. She teaches them how to not perish. The world is full of people who start but rarely finish, full of people who burst into brilliance and then fade away. Talent gets them going, inspiration gets them flying, but consistency keeps them going. And it's that consistency without fuss the universe respects most. Hestia was not the goddess of victory, not the goddess of power, not the goddess of magic, but she was respected by all the gods because she kept what no one else could keep, the sacred order of eternal fire. People admired Zeus for his thunderbolts, Apollo for his light, Athena for his wisdom, Ares for his battle. But they all needed Hestia's fire to return home. For without fire, Olympus would be just a cold mountain. And that is the lesson Hestia wants to give you. A steady fire within is stronger than the storms of the outside world. First principle. Fire does not live on inspiration. Fire lives on ritual. You can't keep the fire burning if you wait for inspiration. Inspiration is a transient visitor that comes and goes. But ritual, the actions you do every day, is what keeps the fire burning. That is why Hestia is the goddess of home, of hearth, of stability. Not because it is a small thing, but because it sustains the soul. The man who lives by inspiration is the one who plays with fire. The man of ritual is the one who summons fire with discipline. Ritual isn't a movement, it's a commitment. It's something you do even when you don't feel like it, just because you know your soul needs it. A fire is kept alive by simple things. 1 hour of practice every day, 10 pages of book, write an evening diary, 10-minute meditation. Focus on the single goal you have chosen. Nothing is too big. It is the little things that make up the eternal strength. People are not broken by fierce storms, okay? People are broken by daily habits. Second principle. Fire needs to be protected, not something for people to touch. Not everyone is worthy of entering your fire. Not everyone is allowed to touch your energy, okay? An unprotected fire will be extinguished by poisonous winds, cynics, okay? Negative voices, dreams corners, souls who would rather destroy than build, okay? Hestia never stood in the middle of the wars on Olympus, not because she was weak, but because she knew where she belonged. She knew this. If you let others pull you away from your heart, the fire will die. Keeping the fire burning means choosing solitude when necessary. It means stepping away from the banquet of meaningless conversation. It means remaining silent in the face of chaos. It means turning off the lights, retreating, regenerating. It's fortifying like a warrior sharpening his sword before another battle. Third principle. Fire belongs only to the real. Anything artificial will not keep the fire burning. you cannot have two lives. You cannot want to keep the fire burning and live against your soul. You cannot say, I want power, and then spend your days destroying yourself with cheap habits. Hestia sees through all disguises. You can fool the world, but you cannot fool the fire. The flame within you will die down every time. You choose easy over right. You betray your principles just to please others. You procrastinate on important things. You know you are wrong, but you continue. You forget the goal that your soul once swore to live and die for. Keeping the fire burning means choosing to be faithful to yourself. The price of that faithfulness is sometimes loneliness, but the reward is an inner power that no one can take away. Fourth principle, fire needs to be fed with meaning. No fire lives just to exist. It must serve a purpose, otherwise it will self-destruct. Fire is born to light, to warm, to protect, to guide. And the fire inside you is no different. It needs a reason to burn. You can keep the fire going strongest when you know what you are fighting for. You have a mission that makes you wake up every morning. You build something bigger than yourself. You give light to others instead of keeping it all to yourself. Fire is not for show. Fire is for used to turn darkness into dawn. Fifth principle, fire spreads from fire, not from darkness. If you want to get hot, get close to the fire. If you want to burn stronger, connect with souls who are also on fire, capable with desire, people with discipline, warriors who never quit, people who choose greatness over ease. Be around them, the fire will burn naturally. And if you surround yourself with people who are negative, dismissive, and mediocre, don't ask why your fire is fading. Fire can never thrive in the dampness of doubt. Keeping the fire burning is a lifelong journey. There is no end point. There is no time to let it go. But if you stay true to the fire, will stay true to you. It will light the way. It will guide you through the darkness. It will keep you alive when all else fails. And in the end, it will take you home where you belong in the order of the universe. Hestia looks at you and says, you don't need me forever. Just remember, the fire is within you. And if one day the world ends, this fire will guide you through the night. 8 enemies of fire, invisible winds that kill souls. There are things that kill the fire within us that are not storms, not pouring rain, not some terrible force from the world. The enemies of fire do not often appear like giant monsters roaring at the door. They come quietly, small, subtle, and most dangerous of all in ways we often do not recognize until it is too late. Hestia called them the invisible winds. They were so light, we thought we could ignore them. But it was these small, overlooked things that brought down the strongest souls. Fires don't usually die from storms, said Hestia. They die from every strange breath of wind that creeps in unwary. The first enemy, procrastination. If there is anything more dangerous than failure, it is procrastination. Procrastination doesn't kill you outright, it kills you little by little. It is the subtlest form of spiritual suicide, putting off the day you get to be your truest self until tomorrow. Just one day, you tell yourself, then another, and another. You don't give up, but you don't start over either. You don't lose, but you don't move forward either. You say you're just waiting for the right moment. But the truth is, you're letting the flame die down. Fire doesn't wait for you. You don't nurture it. It will leave as gently as it came. Second enemy, trivial temptations. Not everyone is defeated by tragedy. Most are defeated by comfort, small compromises, by the comfortable security we call okay. But what is okay? Okay is holding yourself just enough to not hurt, but also just enough to never reach your true power. These temptations do not come in the form of evil. On the contrary, they often come in the form of rewards, a steady salary, a safe haven, a comfortable life, an acceptable compromise with fate. But Hestia knew fire cannot live in mediocrity. Fire is meant to grow. If you lock it in a safe box, it will suffocate. Third enemy, Poisonous words. Be careful of the words you hear every day. They are the most dangerous poison wind. They come from neighbors, from social media, from people who wear the mask of caring, but really only sow doubt in the souls of others. Say, stop dreaming, stop being paranoid. Who does that anymore these days? Live moderately. Why try so hard? Failure is certain. No need to try. And the scariest thing, it's not that we hear those words from our enemies. It's that we believe them simply because we're so used to hearing them every day. But did you notice? No successful person ever says such things. No strong soul casts doubt on another person's dreams. Only timid, defeated, surrendered souls want to drag others down, because what they fear most is to see someone burn brightly, because that light exposes the darkness within themselves. The fourth enemy, self-doubt. There is a poisonous wind that blows not from outside, but from within you. And it is the most dangerous of all, because it speaks like you. It thinks like you. It knows your fears. It is your shadow end. It speaks words that make you believe it is true. The voice whispered, "What if I'm not good enough? What if I make a mistake? What if they laugh at me? What if I don't succeed?" Hestia hated most of all those souls who were controlled by the weaker spirit within them. She did not blame those who failed, but she despised those who bared themselves without even fighting. The flame doesn't ask you to be sure. It just wants to know, do you have the courage to keep going when you see the path? Enemy number 5, the habit of giving up. Giving up is not a decision. It is a habit. People do not give up suddenly in big moments. They give up hundreds of small moments. Today, I skip my workout because I'm tired. Tomorrow, I skip my goal because I'm busy. Next week, I skip my promise because I'm not motivated. Then, next month, I skip my dream because I'm out of inspiration. It's not that you don't have fire, you just haven't been faithful to it. So how to fight against those invisible enemies? Hestia lets no soul leave her circle of fire without understanding this. Fire belongs only to those with disciplined souls. Not muscular discipline, not mechanical discipline, but the spiritual discipline that comes from respecting yourself and respecting your mission in life. She gives you 3 weapons. 1. Conscious solitude. When you find yourself being affected by the poisonous wind from outside, get away. Get away from the noise. Turn off the world. Return to the fire. It's the only place where you can hear your true voice. 2. Commitment. Not to break. No excuses. No excuses. No procrastination. No evasion. So you must have one unbreakable principle. No matter what happens, I will not give up the fire. 3. Energy purification. If something, someone, an environment weakens your leaf, Hestia does not tolerate chaos, and neither can you. Your flame will be tested. That is the law. But fire is only recognized as real when it has survived the wind. But if you understand your enemy, you will not only keep the fire, you will master it. Hestia looked at you, her eyes without judgment nor pity. There was only the truth. You don't lose because your enemies are strong. You lose because you let weak people get into your mind. 9. The fires of the soul. From survival to divinity, not all fires are the same. Some are bright, but weak. Some are hot, but short-lived. Some flare up brightly, only to die in ashes. And there is another kind of fire, the fire that time cannot kill, the darkness cannot swallow, and fate cannot break. This is the sacred fire. Hestia tells you that every soul has fire, but not every soul can reach the highest level of fire. Most people live without understanding which level of fire they are on, and therefore they do not know where to go next. They think they have burned themselves out, but in reality, they are only burning on the lowest level, the level of survival. Hestia points to the fire before you. It burns high, but the fire is more than heat and light. It has layers, it has depth, it has soul, and anyone brave enough to take this journey must pass through each layer of fire within themselves. Level 1. Survival fire. This is the lowest fire, small but necessary. Okay? It makes people wake up every day just to live another day. This fire gives them food, shelter, work, basic money. But it is also where the soul sleeps the longest. They do not live, they just exist. There is no purpose, no passion, no calling. Only fear of being left behind. This is where the majority of humanity remains until the end of their lives. People on this level, Dan T, understand why they feel empty even though they are living like everyone else. They are not bad people. They are just souls who have never been taught that they can go to higher levels. Second floor, fire of passion. This is the level where the soul begins to awaken. They find what makes their heart beat, a talent, a purpose, a path, something that makes life worth living. The fire of passion is strong, fiery, fierce, full of energy. It can light a person up, okay? But it can also kill them if they don't know how to control it, okay? This is where many souls burn and die, for passion is not enough to sustain the fire. Passion without order creates chaos. Passion without control destroys the bearer. And only those who pass the test of this level understand the truth. Persistence is more important than fire. Third level, disciplinary fire. Hestia loved the souls who passed through this level. This was where the fire became steady. No longer a temporary outburst, no longer subject to inspiration or mood. The fire here was as solid as stone, as strong as steel, not easily extinguished. The disciplined level is where people are reborn as warriors. They wake up when they are tired. They continue when they are no longer interested. They keep their promises to themselves. They are the ones who, once they decide to do something, they will eventually do it. Hestia said, the disciplined are the ones the fire has chosen. But even the fire of discipline is not the final level, because it is still only personal power. The journey is higher than that. Fourth floor, sacrificial fire. This is the level where the fire no longer lives for itself. Those who enter this level understand a profound truth. Nothing great is built without a price. Those who climb here must learn the hardest lesson of the soul. You cannot keep everything. To keep the fire alive, you must know how to let go of something else. You have to let go of relationships that drag you down, little habits that steal your power. Let go of the illusion that everyone understands you. Let go of the comfort of doing the right thing. Let go of the need to be liked and become the most authentic version of yourself. This is the level where many give up because they realize the path up requires sacrifice. But only those souls who understand the value of sacrifice can keep the fire burning long enough to continue. Fifth floor, guiding fire. This layer is Hestia's true nature. The flame is not just a light for yourself, it becomes a light for others. This is where your power not only helps you survive, but also saves others from the darkness. You no longer speak for yourself. You lead, you inspire, you lift others up, you fan the flames of the extinguished. You become the Flamekeeper. But this doesn't make you a god. It makes you a bearer of responsibility, because the greater the light, the greater the darkness, and that's why the last layer exists. Sixth floor, sacred fire. This is the highest level, where fire is no longer just a force, but the essence of the soul. On this level, the flame never goes out. It is still tested, it still encounters poisonous winds, but it is no longer of this world. It belongs to the divine order, which exists beyond fate, beyond time. Those who have attained this sacred fire do not live by instinct, nor do they live by the logic of the world. They live by the calling of their soul. They no longer need to prove themselves. They no longer need to argue. They no longer need anyone to recognize them. They simply live true to what they were born to do. They are the keepers of the fire spirits that the darkness, fears, and the ruins of the world cannot defeat. You look at Hestia and ask, is this a journey only for the few? Hestia says, no, but only the few dare to go all the way. Because the journey up the 6 levels of fire is not about becoming great. It is about becoming right, true to your soul, true to the mission you have been given, true to the destiny that awaits you. Hestia touches the fire in front of you and says, "Fire does not choose the strong. Fire chooses the loyal. And if you are loyal to the end, the fire will lead you to your destiny." 10. Fire Ritual. The Firekeeper's first training. Hestia stands before you, tears piercing deep, as if piercing the very depths of your soul. No more history, no more soft philosophies. This is where it truly begins. This is where no one else can stand with you. The journey with fire, from the very beginning, has always been a solo journey. She said that to keep the fire burning, one must first be worthy. Not because the fire is proud, but because the fire is honest. The fire does not belong to those who lie to themselves. It does not belong to the weak soul who pretends to be strong. It does not belong to those who only talk but do not dare to stand. The fire goes with those who dare to take responsibility for their own breath. And so, the first ritual is to challenge your true nature. The ritual is called Facing the Breath. It sounds so simple, but the greatest rituals are always the most humble. Hestia tells you to kneel before the fire. No prayers, no favors, no vows. Just breathe, for breath is the rhythm of the soul. Breath never lies. Breath will answer for her. She raised her hand, and the flames suddenly rose another level, burning with a deep golden light like the ancient sun. The temperature in the great hall changed, not strong, but very real. The heat did not burn the skin, but burned into the heart. "What were you running from?" Hestia asked. The question seemed meaningless, but the fire waited for an answer. You fall silent. The heat begins to tighten the air. Hiding is not an option. Not answering is also an answer. And with fire, silence is a lie. You open your mouth, but the words don't come out. Because being honest with yourself is never easy. Hestia doesn't take her eyes off you. She doesn't blame you. She doesn't push you. She just waits. And it's that silence that makes your defenses crumble. You ran from yourself, from pain that had not healed, from goals you proclaimed but left unfinished, from battles you knew you had to fight but never had the courage to start. You ran from dark memories, from feelings of inadequacy. You ran from who you truly were. The fire in front of you trembles as if it hears your every unspoken word. But the ritual did not end there. Hestia continued. What are you carrying that is keeping you from going any further? This is not a question of enemies. This is a question of burdens. Because on the path of keeping the fire burning, there are things you have to put down. It's not because they are bad, but because they no longer fit the new journey. Maybe you're carrying around the judgments of others, the opinions of the masses, the pressures that society has around you, Maybe you're carrying around relationships that are no longer healthy, but you're holding on because you're afraid of being alone, Maybe you're carrying around an old version of yourself and you're afraid to step into the new version, the version that you know is stronger, but also lonelier. Fire doesn't burn you. It burns what doesn't belong to you. And then Hestia placed her hand on your heart. You cannot keep the fire burning if your soul is filled with lies. Tell the truth or leave. This is a defining moment. There is no middle ground. There is no turning back. You must tear apart the layers of falsehood you have built up to survive. You must choose painful honesty over comfort. You breathe a long breath, an honest breath. You speak your truth, all of it. No holding back, no hiding, no embellishment. You say what you're truly afraid of, what you truly want, what you were truly born to do but have denied for so long. When you finish speaking, there is no applause. There is no holy light. There is only silence. But it is a silence of liberation. You feel your heart lighten, not because you are stronger, but because you are more real. Hestia nodded, not because she was satisfied, but because she had just crossed the first threshold, being honest with herself. From now on, you are no longer a person who mistakenly stepped into the fire. You are recognized by the fire, okay? And that is something that even Zeus cannot give to anyone. Fire only chooses those who are worthy. Hestia said, "You have kindled the first breath of fire, but this is only the beginning. From this day forward, every step you take must be a promise to fire. For whoever betrays fire will burn in its own flames. Fire burns in your eyes. There is no escape. Key, but you don't need an escape. 'Cause once you know the truth about yourself, you want to go back to your old life. Tonight, the ritual has begun, and you have just taken the first step on your journey to becoming a Flamekeeper." Hestia looked at you and said, "If you still want to go, prepare. The second training will test your heart, not with words, but with choices. 11 heart before the fire, the law of the only choice after the first ritual. You think you understand fire. You think the hardest challenge is facing the truth within yourself. But that is only the first crack. To go further, you must travel to a different land where there are no maps, no directions. Hey, only a single question that will determine the rest of your journey." Hestia leads you to another room in the Great Hall. There are no walls, no roof, no exit. Just a circle of fire on the ground, burning softly but steadily. In the center of the fire is an empty space, as if a place had been reserved for something or someone. "This is the second rite," Hestia said. "It is no longer for the head. From now on, everything will go to your heart." You stand before that circle of fire and feel something different. Not the gentle warmth of Hestia. Not the fierce power of Ares. Not the arrogant light of Apollo. Not the cold sharpness of Athena. This is something else. Deeper, quieter, more dangerous. Fire tests more than courage, Hestia said. Fire tests loyalty. You frown. Loyalty to whom? To her, to Olympus, to the gods, to destiny. Hestia shakes her head. "No," she said. "Stay true to the path." It sounds simple, okay? But when you look into that ring of fire, you realize there is something waiting. It's an invisible challenge that Hestia has yet to speak of. It's an inevitable choice. This ritual asks only one question only. And your answer will determine whether you keep the fire alive or whether you must leave this place forever. Hestia raised her hand. The space around her changed. Vision appeared before her eyes. Not an illusion, but a twist of fate. You see yourself standing on two roads. One leads to fame, victory, to cheers, and the bright lights of success. This road is attractive, wide, and well-traveled. Everything you ever wanted, it seems to be there. And the other path, narrow, dark, with no one to walk with, no one to cheer for, no one to understand. This path promises nothing. It is silent, but it calls to you in a strange, inexplicable way, as if your soul has known this path all along, but you have been avoiding it. Hestia's voice rang out. Every soul comes to this moment, the moment when it must choose between the right path and the easy path. This is the only law of fire. You were handed an object, a small spark resting in your palm. It was as faint as a breath, but it felt heavier than anything you had ever held. Hestia said, "This is the fire of your destiny. Carry it through your choices. But remember, the fire will go out if you betray your heart. To let the fire go out means the ritual has failed. And once it has failed, there is no second chance. The ceremony begins. You come to the intersection of two roads. The problem is, you don't ask, you don't explain. You just choose. Because after all, in life, you don't always get warnings. Some choices come suddenly, and you have to know which way to turn. You stand between two paths. The fire in your hand waits. It sees into your heart. It knows the truth. You cannot deceive it. On the road to fame, you can move very fast. There are lights. There is recognition. There are people walking with you. But deep inside, you hear a voice saying, "This is not the road that leads to my true destiny." It is beautiful, but it is not for you. On that narrow path, you don't know what awaits you. You don't know where it will take you. There are no guarantees. But strangely enough, in that darkness, you hear a clear voice calling. This is the path for me. Whatever the cost, the fire in your hand begins to flicker, right? It waits for the final choice. You understand that the real question is not which path is better, but what will I be faithful to ease or to the truth of my soul? You walk away. No turning back. You choose the path without light, not because you enjoy suffering, but because it is the path that leads you to become what you were born to be. As you step over the line, the flame in your hand bursts into flame. It is no longer a faint spark. It becomes heat. It becomes power. It becomes life. It recognizes you. It accepts you. You have passed the first law of the heart before fire. Stay true to the path, even if you have to go it alone. Hestia appears beside you, not to praise, not to reward. She simply says one sentence. From this moment on, you are no longer a seeker of fire. You are a follower of fire. She looked into your eyes. Her gaze was serious. But the real journey begins when the fire follower encounters the most terrifying thing in the universe, the silence of the gods. 12. When fire doesn't answer. Crossing the sacred silence. No one tells you that once you have made your choice, the path will become easier. No one tells you that the fire will always guide your way. No one tells you that if you stay true to the path, you will receive immediate rewards. Those are for children's stories, not the truth of the soul. The truth is this: every soul that chooses its true path will have to pass through a land called the sacred silence. It is a stage where there is no magic, no signs, no help, no guidance. You hear no call. You feel no initial motivation. You see no guiding light. It is dark. The wind is cold. Not a whisper, not a sign that you are on the right track. There is only one question left. Are you loyal enough to continue even when things go wrong? You enter that zone without knowing it. One day, you wake up and feel empty, even though you are still on the right path. The work you do suddenly becomes heavy. Every effort seems meaningless. No response, no results. You try, but see no progress. Pray, but no one answers. You keep going, but don't know why you keep going. You start asking, where am I going? What is the purpose of all this? Why does it get more difficult the closer we get to our destiny? No answer. You call to fire, but fire does not answer. Then a danger appears. Not an enemy, not the darkness, but doubt. It is silent, soft, and more dangerous than any sword. It asks you questions like, or did I choose wrong? Or am I not good enough? Or is this dream too big? Or should I go back to my old life? Or am I just hallucinating? Doubt leads to fatigue. Fatigue leads to collapse. More dangerous than failure is losing faith in yourself. You feel alone. No one understands your journey. Those who took the easy road have left you behind. Those who promised to walk with you are no longer here. No more sounds, no more promises. Nothing but your own breath, alone. This is the challenge that all Flamekeepers must go through. Going without emotion, going without results, going without recognition. And there is only one rule to pass the sacred silence. Go ahead, not fast, not perfect, just faithful. Just keep the fire burning even when it dies down. Just keep going, even if it's just one step further. Hestia watches you from afar, but she does not help. It's not because she has abandoned you, but because the silence is where each soul must conquer itself. This is where you no longer learn from teachings, but from your own experiences. This is where the heart is forged. This is where the soul changes shape. If in the first ritual you learn honesty, in the second ritual you learn fidelity, then in the sacred silence you learn maturity. One night during that journey, when you thought you could go no further, you sat down by the side of the road. There was nothing left to say, nothing left to beg, nothing left to prove, just silence and you. And in that moment of seemingly despair, you do the only thing a true soul can do. You keep breathing. Suddenly, you realize that the fire never left. It just stood still, waiting to see if you could keep it alive. 'Cause in the end, the fire is not outside. It was never outside. It is here, inside you. When you accept that you will continue even when you no longer feel anything, you have crossed the door of sacred silence. You have entered a new level of fire, sustainability. Hestia appears when you step out of that zone. There are no fireworks, no triumphal songs, no cheers, only a new fire, deeper, quieter, more dangerous than before, burning within you. She looked at you and said, "You have learned what only the strongest souls understand. It is not he who keeps the fire the best who wins. It is he who never lets it go out." Then she turned back and added, "The next journey will not test your emotions or your beliefs. It will test your soul with what even gods fear to face, true darkness." 13. Fire and shadow. Confronting the darkest part of the soul. Not all darkness is an enemy, okay? But every soul has a darkness they are afraid to touch. It is not the darkness of the outside world. It is not the sins of others. It is your own darkness, the part of your soul that you hide from others, from the world, from yourself. This section has a unique name, the shadow. After you cross the sacred silence, Hestia doesn't lead you to a sacred mountain, doesn't open a magical portal. She leads you down a dark staircase into a deep vault beneath the temple's fire. No one accompanies you, no words, no advice. She only says one last thing. Here, fire will not help you. Here, only the truth can save you. The door closes behind you. You enter the deepest part of your journey, the shadow vault. That space is like no other you have ever known. It is not a cave. It is not a prison. It is not a physical place. It is like a spiritual realm where everything reflects back to you. You try to call for fire, but there is no light. This is not a place of fire. This is a place of the naked soul. And then you see Ida figure standing just a few feet away from you. It looks like you, but something is wrong. Its eyes were cruel. Its smile was crooked. It stood there as if it had been waiting for you for a long time. When it stepped out of the darkness, you knew who it was. It is everything you have rejected, all the anger you have bottled up, all the fear you have hidden, all the dark desires you dare not admit, all the selfishness, jealousy, weakness, hurt, betrayal, despair, crystallized into a single form. It is your second true self. You want to back away, but there is no way back. It looks at you and speaks in your own voice, but lower, colder. You finally came. You came so far only to realize, I am the one who knows the truth. You are not as strong as you think. You are afraid. You are alone. You wear a mask to live. You speak of fire, but it is you who fear being burned. You protest. You say you've changed. You say you've chosen the right path. Say you've stayed true to the fire. But it smiles. The smile of one who knows the truth. If you were really strong, you wouldn't need to prove it. The words were like a knife through my heart, 'cause it was true. There's no way to defeat the shadow with words. It knows you, every thought, every memory, every pain. It is not your enemy. It is you, the part you do not want to look at. You fight it, but you cannot win. It repels every blow you throw. You strike with anger. It gets stronger. Strike with reason. It loses all logic. You try to deny it. It grows stronger. Every time you deny it, it swallows a little more of you. You begin to understand. Fighting the shadow is pointless, because the shadow does not die when you fight it. It only dies when you acknowledge it. You stop. You stop fighting. For the first time, instead of resisting, you admit, yes, I have things I am not proud of. I have been afraid. I have run away. I have betrayed myself. I have been jealous of others. I have hated. I have been weak. I have lied to be loved. I have been silent when I should have spoken. I am not perfect, and I do not have to pretend to be. You approach it. You don't attack. You don't run away. You hug it. The moment you touch it, the darkness explodes. It turns to dust. No more hate, no more tearing, no more torment, just oneness. You don't kill it, you tame it, because only those who dare to embrace the worst part of themselves can keep the strength to continue the sacred journey. In the silence, you hear a whisper from deep within. The soul is not defined by light or darkness, but by the choice to be faithful to what is right, even when both exist within us. Hestia appeared. She stood in the space that had just gone through the soul storm. Her eyes were no longer gentle as before, but in acknowledgement. "Now I know," she said. "You are no longer a seeker of power. You've learned to take responsibility for yourself. You are now qualified to learn what only the Flamekeeper knows, how to use fire to shape fate." 14. The Law of Living Fire. Where does changing destiny begin? After taming your shadow, you emerge from the shadow vault as if you've been through a battle no one saw it. Everyone felt. You're not the same person you were when you entered. Something has changed in the fabric of your soul. You're not perfect. You're just real. That S when Hestia takes you to a place never mentioned in any Greek myth, the Hall of Living Flame. Not everyone knows this place exists, even the other gods. This is where those who have chosen the path of Flamekeeper can set foot. The hall had no walls, no roof. It sat in an endless plain where the sky and earth seemed woven of fire. But the flames here were unlike any you had seen before. They were not still. They moved like living beings, like stars carrying ancient memories. "This is where fire is more than just fire," Hestia said. "This is where will becomes power. This is where fate is rewritten." You used to think that fate was something that was predetermined. You had heard people say, everyone is born with a destiny. But Hestia said that was only half the truth. Destiny existed, but it was not fixed. It was like an unfinished piece of music, and people were the ones who had to complete it themselves. You ask her, if fate can be changed, then why can't most people do it? She replied, because they do not know the laws of the living fire. Hestia raised her hand, and a white flame appeared from nothing, no heat, no burning. She placed it in midair, letting it float like a star. Every Flamekeeper must learn this first. Only by understanding the living flame can you change yourself in the fate of a world. The flames glowed as if waiting for the words to be spoken. And Hestia began to teach the first law. Fate is not changed by hope. It is changed only by inner restructuring. Those words make you silent for a long time, because you understand that she has just denied the thing that humans cling to survive blind hope. Hope can light up a lost heart, but it cannot change reality. Hope without action is just an illusion. Hope without discipline is just a dream. Hope without restructuring the structure of thoughts, emotions, and actions is just something that drags people along in life without meaning. You want to change your fate? Then change your own structure first. How should we change, you ask? Hestia replied, not a change in nature, but a change in the direction of the fire in your soul. She points at you as if looking through your body to see the world inside. Every soul has a fire, but most let it burn instinctively. They let their emotions control their thoughts. They let their fears dictate their choices. They let their doubts kill their dreams before they even begin. They blame fate while they themselves are letting go of the steering wheel of their lives. Then she pointed to your heart. Changing destiny begins here, not out there, not from the world, not from divine favor or fate. It begins when the soul rebuilds its inner structure, thoughts, beliefs, disciplines, vibrational frequency. This flow must be aligned in the right order. It's in the right direction. Thoughts give birth to beliefs. Faith gives birth to discipline. Discipline breeds repetition, okay? Repeated action changes the soul. Soul change, fate change, okay? That is the law of the living flame. No one can break it, okay? No God can avoid it. You step close to the white flame, feel it as a living thing. It does not demand worship, it demands loyalty to its own path. And when you reach out and touch it, instead of burning, it melts into your flesh like 1,000 rays of light. In that moment, you see yourself in many different timelines. In one future, you fail because you are not determined enough. In another future, you succeed and then lose your soul because you betray your ideals. But in a future far away, you see another version of yourself, the one who does not give up, the one who does not lose his essence, the one who goes all the way and carries the ultimate flame, soul that does not tremble before fate, but rewrites its own fate. The future is not something to be predicted, Hestia said. It is something to be shaped by inner discipline. If you want to change your destiny, start from within. 15. Initiating the inner flame. Why can't 99% of people keep the fire inside? No one is born without fire, but most lose it before they reach adulthood. What people daren't realize is that the first death in life is not the death of the body, but the moment the fire within them goes out. From then on, they live on, but they don't really live. Here's the cruel truth. Not everyone is qualified to hold a fire. Getting it is easy. Keeping it is difficult. In the Hall of Living Flames, Hestia stops before a still, black pool. The water reflects not images, but inner states. She tells you to look down. At first, you see nothing but your own reflection. But the deeper you look, the more the water changes color, from black to red, then purple, then a turbulent storm. Images swirl, fear of failure, doubt, self-doubt, the cruel things others have said about you, the times you gave up halfway, the unfinished plans that remain forever in tomorrow. This, Hestia said, is why 99% of humans fail to keep the flame. They let their inner turmoil take over without realizing it. You ask, so what is the inner flame? Hestia replied, the inner flame is the axis of the soul, the center of power, the foundation of inner discipline that keeps a flamekeeper from falling even when the world turns its back. The inner flame is not the fiery emotion that people think of. Emotions are like straw fires. They flare up quickly, but they die out just as quickly. The inner flame is something else. It is quiet. It is persistent. It is steadfast. It is silent, but never extinguished. Weak people think strength comes from motivation, but flamekeepers understand that motivation is random. True strength comes from constant inner discipline, even when the emotions are gone. Hestia pointed at you. You want to keep the fire? Then understand this. There are 5 things that kill inner flames faster than anything else. At that moment, the lake's surface changed, revealing 5 images like 5 cracks in the soul. The first person eyes always look to other people's lives. The second person, holding a fire in his hand, but standing still, not taking action. Third person heart, full of doubt. The fourth person, the soul, is led by emotions. The fifth person gives up at the threshold of change, without Hestia having to explain. You understood. Comparison kills motivation. Delay kills opportunity. Doubt kills trust. Emotional turmoil kills concentration. Give up kill the soul. Most humans fail not because they are incompetent, said Hestia. They fail because they cannot sustain their inner flame through normal days, because destiny changes Dan. Happen in big moments. They happen in the quiet days that no one sees. The days when you want to give up, but you keep going. It's days when you're tired, but you still get what you need to do. It's the days when no one believes in you, but you still believe in yourself. Hestia held out her hand. From the air, a new flame appeared, deep red, powerful, like a living heart. This is the inner flame. But before I pass it on to you, I must know, are you worthy to keep it? Before you, a stone altar appears. On it are placed 3 oaths, 3 irreversible choices. Keep the fire burning, even if you are alone. Keep the fire burning, even if betrayed. Keep the fire burning, even if the whole world is against you. The inner flame is not for the faint-hearted. Once you take it, your path will be different. No more easy. No more turning back. You will no longer live as a normal person. The flame will test you. It will wear you down. But if you keep it, it will make you unbreakable. She asked a decisive question. Are you willing to accept the trade-off? The wind stopped. It was silent. There was no movement in the hall. It was as if everyone was waiting for your answer. Not a verbal answer, but an answer from the soul. And you nod. Hestia did not smile. She simply said, remember, the keepers of the inner flame do not ask for power. They become power. 16 Fire-keeping ritual. Initiating the inner flame in the first 7 breaths. No divine power comes by chance. It only comes through ritual, a deliberate offering of the soul. The inner flame is not a gift. It is a responsibility. And to be given it, you must pass the flame-keeping rite. That night, Hestia led you to an ancient stone circle. Black pillars stood straight up like Titan warriors, guarding the gates between 2 worlds. In the sky, the stars stood still, as if nailed to the cosmos. The silence was so quiet that every heartbeat echoed. Hestia stepped into the center of the circle. A white flame appeared in her hand. But it was different from before. This time, the flame carried an indescribable, sacred weight, she said. Creating the inner flame is not about learning a technique. It is a pact between the soul and the universe. Once the flame enters the heart, it will knock on the door every day to ask, are you still faithful to your path? If one day you betray the flame, it will burn you. She set the flame in midair. It floated like a little sun. To keep the fire in your life, you must start keeping it in a moment. And that moment is the first 7 breaths, not 7 ordinary breaths. These are 7 oaths, 7 locks to keep the fire from going out, 7 bonds between souls and new destinies. Hestia asks you to kneel before the fire. She does not say a prayer. She does not give a blessing. She simply teaches you how to ignite the fire from within, rather than waiting for it to come from without. For Flamekeepers, do not ask for power, okay? They awaken a power that has been dormant since the beginning. First breath, accepting the truth. The first breath does not empower, Hestia said. It unbinds. You will never hold the inner flame if you continue to hide from yourself. Take a deep breath. Exhale with an acknowledgement. I am not perfect, but I can become stronger. The ground beneath your feet shakes slightly, as if the first gate has just opened. Second breath. Separate yourself from the crowd. Flamekeepers are not the majority, Hestia said. They are the rare choice. You take another deep breath and exhale the commitment. I accept walking alone if necessary. Instantly, the surrounding wind stopped. No more noise, only the road. It's the third breath, cutting off procrastination. The devil does not fear those who fail. It fears only those who act immediately, Hestia said. You breathe out a dangerous promise. We act even when we are not ready. A faint red halo appears around your chest. The inner flame begins to awaken. Fourth breath, refusing compromise. Many souls do not fall because of failure. They fall because of small compromises that take them further from their mission. You take a deep breath. The oath is like a sword. I would not trade my soul for safety. The white flame flickered, as if in agreement. Fifth breath, discipline before emotion. Those who do not control their emotions will have their emotions control their destiny. You exhale coldly. Even if your emotions say no, you still do what needs to be done. A thump sounds from your heart. The beat gets louder. Sixth breath. Loyalty to the ideal mission is not something you choose. It is something you realize. You close your eyes and say, stay true to the path I have chosen until my heart stops beating. Inner flame changes color from red to bright yellow. Seventh breath, offering the soul to the living fire. Hestia said nothing. This is your breath, freedom, or surrender. You know the answer. The last breath escaped, carrying the last oath. No matter the cost, I will not let this flame go out. The fire broke out, not in real life, but inside your chest. You open your eyes. Your heart no longer beats, sings, it burns. It calls your name. You have created your inner flame. a flame that will never leave you again unless you betray it. Hestia stepped closer, placing her hand on your shoulder. Her gaze was no longer the gentle gaze of a cook, but the powerful gaze of an ancient goddess. You are no longer a seeker. You have entered the path of fire. But remember, keeping the fire burning is only the beginning. The next question is, what will you do with it? 17. Divine purpose. What does the inner flame exist for? No power exists just for show. Every fire is born with a purpose. If fire has no purpose, it will burn everything pointlessly. If power has no purpose, it will turn around and consume the one who wields it. That is why Hestia does not ask you, "Are you stronger?" She asks, "What is your purpose?" The inner flame is given to you, but it does not claim you, because the flame belongs only to those who have found their divine purpose. Not a job, not a passion, not a life goal, okay, but a soul mission. Something that even the universe must make way for. You look at Hestia wordlessly. You understand. To go further, you must answer the single question that matters most. Why was I born? Hestia transports you to a place not of Olympus nor of the mortal world. A space forged from cosmic memory, where unfulfilled dreams and unchosen destinies float like star fragments. In every soul, she said, there is a calling they were born to hear, but they rarely hear it. Because the world is too noisy, because doubt kills intuition, because fear makes people choose safety over mission. You ask, so how do you know your own mission? Hestia offered 3 signs, not theories, not philosophies, but 3 undeniable truths. Okay? Mission is not something you choose. It is something you cannot choose. Okay? A mission is not something you want to do. It is something you have to do, even if no one is on your side. Mission is not where you find success. It is where you become what you were born to be. You were silent. She continued. You can run from your dreams. You can run from your responsibilities, but you cannot run from your mission, because your mission will find you in the deepest pain or in the moment of your soul as awakening. Hestia held out her hand. The space before you opened up like a cosmic mirror, okay? In it, you saw yourself, not the present you, but countless versions of yourself, okay? You see yourself in the future if you let go, living an ordinary life, no more fire, no more desire, okay? A shadow of yourself. You see another version, a successful person who lost his soul because of ambition. Then another version, a person on the right path, but stopped halfway because of fear of loneliness. Finally, you see a single version, standing alone at a gate that no one dares to enter, no one to go with, no one to support. But its eyes do not tremble. They are calm. They are clear. They carry a power that nothing can destroy. Its soul is united with its mission. You get the idea. It's the truest version of you, Hestia said. The inner flame exists for one reason only, to guide the soul to the path it was born to walk. It only lives, it sleeps. If it only plays, it's safe, it dies. It only burns when you stand where you are meant to stand, in the true line of the soul. You ask her, how do I find my mission? Hestia answered without hesitation, by answering a single question. What makes you willing to endure pain, but still choose to continue? Not what makes you happy, but what caused you, what you can't leave, what you can't betray, without losing yourself. It's something that if you don't do, your soul will be restless. If you don't pursue it, your heart will know you're living wrongly. If you bury it, it will turn to black ash in your heart and burn away the rest of your humanity. Hestia placed her hand on your chest, where the inner flame burned softly like the first starlight before dawn. She said, from today on, you will no longer ask where life is taking you. You will choose your own path, okay? And when you choose, heaven and earth will move according to that choice. You know what that means. This is no longer a quest for sacred knowledge. This is a battle for your soul, because from now on, there will be forces that will try to extinguish your fire, voices that will try to pull you back to safety, okay? People who will leave you because they can't stand the fire you carry, okay? And not all of them are outside. Sometimes you will become your own enemy. That's the price of the sacred journey. But you accept it. Because you were not born to live like the majority. You were born to embark on a journey no one dares to take. The inner flame is the promise that you will never go back to being the same person again. The flame within you has awakened. The journey is not over, and the mysteries of Olympus await. If you want to continue entering the world of Greek myths for sleep, witnessing stories that only Flamekeepers dare to face, click register now. Okay, don't miss a single step on this sacred path.